Charles Lee Ray, aka Chucky the Doll, was a serial killer who was born in Chicago on March 9, 1950, to an American mother and an Austrian father who was an alcoholic who would beat Charles. After he turned 10, Charles was put into foster care. Charles was a very bright boy with a high IQ, but he was very shy and suffered from anxiety and depression. As he grew up, Charles found that he was fond of killing small animals. He often felt disconnected to society and felt no love for anyone or anything. Eventually, he moved on from animals to people and became a serial killer. While serving a short prison sentence that was unrelated to murder, Charles learned a new hobby: voodoo. In 1988, after years of murdering with his friend and accomplice, Eddie Caputo, Charles was finally caught by homicide detective Mike Norris, and Charles was fatally shot after Eddie abandoned him at the scene. Charles ran as far as he could and stumbled into a toy store. Before he succumbed to his bullet wound, he transferred his soul into a popular doll using the voodoo that he had learned over the years. The ritual caused the storm to suddenly come over the store, and a lightning strike hit the store. As far as the police were concerned, Charles Lee Ray was dead, as his dead body was found. A short time after Charles's death, a woman named Karen Barclay buys the same doll that Charles put his soul in, unaware of what happened, as she bought the doll from a hobo who searched the wrecked store for merchandise and found the typically expensive doll unscathed. Karen's son Andy is a big fan of the Good Guy doll, but Karen could not afford to buy one at regular price, so this is why she buys the doll from the hobo for $50. Not long after Alex gets the toy he so covets, strange things begin to happen in their home. One night, while Karen is working the late shift, her friend and co-worker Maggie babysits for Alex, and unfortunately for her, she is hit from behind by the doll and falls out the window of the apartment to her death. Karen comes home to find Mike Norris and the police investigating the accident as a homicide, and Alex is thought to be a suspect because his shoes match prints on the ground near the attack. Eventually, Chucky outs himself to Alex and refers to himself as Chucky to get closer to Alex. Chucky uses Alex to take him around town to find Eddie for revenge since he left Chucky to the police. Chucky finds Eddie and kills him by releasing gas into the house, and Eddie accidentally kills himself when he fires his gun at a noise and the house explodes. Afterwards, the police arrive and find Alex and Chucky at the scene, drawing more suspicion on Alex. He is then put in a hospital for evaluation. Meanwhile, Karen returns home, taking Chucky with her, and to her shock, she realizes no one put batteries in the doll, and she grows fearful. Karen checks the doll to make sure there were no batteries in, so she threatens Chucky with fire, and he springs to life, attacking her, biting her, and eventually escaping. Karen runs to Detective Norris and pleads to him that Chucky is alive and Alex is innocent. Of course, Norris doesn't believe her and drives off. While driving, Chucky sneaks up on Norris and attempts to kill him for revenge for shooting Chucky in the first place. After a wild ride through Chicago traffic, the car flips over. Norris manages to shoot Chucky and the doll runs away. Not long afterwards, Chucky meets up with his voodoo teacher known on the streets as Dr. Death to find out how to get out of his body since he is showing signs of vulnerability and is now bleeding from his wounds. Dr. Death tells Charles he is an abomination and must be destroyed. Chucky takes advantage of the situation and uses a voodoo doll to force the doctor to tell him how to be set free. Dr. Death tells him he needs to transfer his soul into the first person he told his secret to, that being Alex. Chucky then kills Dr. Death and makes his way back to Alex. Now convinced, Norris works with Karen to find Dr. Death before he passes, and Dr. Death tells him what Chucky is going to do with Alex. Chucky invades the hospital and nearly gets Alex, but Dr. Ardmore intervenes, unaware of Chucky. Chucky kills the good doctor by way of electric shock therapy. Alex escapes and somehow gets back to his apartment. Chucky again sneaks in, and after a short chase, he knocks out young Alex so he can perform the ritual without interruption. Karen and Norris are hot on the doll's trail as Chucky begins the ritual. The storm clouds gather around the apartment like before, but Chucky is unable to finish the transfer as Karen and Norris break in and throw Chucky away from Alex. Karen is relieved to find Alex is okay, but Chucky is hiding somewhere in the apartment. Norris searches high and low for the doll, but he is unfortunately knocked out from behind. Chucky is then shot by Karen before he can kill Norris, but the gun jams on her and Chucky runs at Karen. Karen struggles with Chucky and is able to throw him into the fireplace, and Alex helps, setting Chucky aflame, saying to the doll, "This is the end, friend." Chucky does not stop though, and Karen is forced to literally shoot Chucky to pieces, seemingly killing him. Karen and Alex check on Norris, who is now waking up just as his partner Jack arrives to find a mess around the house, dismissing their claims about Chucky. Suddenly, Chucky comes to life, attacking Jack and nearly strangling him. Norris finds his gun on the ground and finally kills Chucky by shooting him in the heart, putting him down permanently. With Chucky now dead and in pieces, Norris and Jack discuss how they will explain this to their colleagues in the police department. Karen takes Alex out of the room and this nightmare, while he looks at the audience with a strange, haunting look, and credits roll. Okay, now that I've given you the rundown on the film and given you the whole plot and story and rigmarole, I want to give you my opinion on this film. I grew up a big fan of the Chucky series. I mean, at first, as a little kid, I was terrified of it. I was very scared of this doll. But as I got older, I grew to appreciate it, not so much on a fear level, but just on a fun level. I've always felt that there's a certain amount of fun in these films. Maybe not so much in the first two, but as it went along, the series definitely delves more into a rather comedic side, because, like, at the end of the day, this doll, it's a doll, it's barely a foot high, It's pretty easy to just kick him and, get rid of him, theoretically, but of course in these films they find ways to make him threatening. And I think that this was a great film and a really good debut for the now iconic Chucky doll. So yeah, I really like this film. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll be back with part 2 next week. This is the Wrestling Movie Guy. Make sure to follow me on Twitter at WrestlingMovieG, @WrestlingMovieG. And please make sure to like, share, and subscribe, because more is on the way. Take it easy, guys.